Right, I have absolutely no clue how to start this. Alright guys, today we're doing an Overwatch tier list where we're going to say what heroes are best for the current season, which is season 25, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hey guys, editor note here. I see that my webcam was covering all the tiers, so here we can see the actual tiers here. So we've got the meta heroes, strong heroes, viable heroes, and subpar heroes, and the swap class. I'm sorry for my webcam covering it. I didn't know until I was editing, so yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not really. Fuck you. We've got 5 categories, so we've got the meta heroes. So the meta heroes are the heroes that are the most viable, like the strongest heroes to play right now, and you can do the most work on. We've got strong heroes. You can play these and you won't put yourself too much at a disadvantage. You've got viable heroes. Viable heroes are heroes that you can play, but they're probably not the best. So you can have situations where these heroes can be good, but overall, they're kind of alright. And we've got subpar heroes. Subpar heroes are heroes that aren't really good. They're not special. They're not going to benefit you or your team. And you're overall probably going to lose more games. And D, that's swap. If you pick these heroes, swap off them. Please. Overall, if you enjoy the hero, that's fine. This is personal opinion. But overall, these heroes are definitely not the ones you want to play if you're really in it to win. Alright, so for meta heroes. Now, Booga, what do you think are the current meta heroes? Tanks, right? We'll start with tanks. What do you think the current meta tanks are? Sigma. I'm gonna have to agree with you on that. So Sigma's really strong right now because he has a shield, a portable shield. He has his shift to able to eat projectiles. He has his E as a stun, so he can stop ultimates like Deadeye or Emore ult. So Sigma has a very strong flank capability. You can play Sigma at an off angle and deal a tremendous amount of damage. And once you get that flux, it's very strong. Overall, right now, Sigma is very much a must pick for a tank if you're really wanting to win. Right, so your other pick was Ball. Right, so Ball. Ball's really strong right now because of his disrupting ability and his ability to destroy a backline by himself. Overall, with Ball, you can dive the supports by yourself. And even if you get caught out, you have that E ability to give yourself like at maximum 600 health to escape at any opportunity. So, but you should explain, since you are the tank player, the expert, why Ball is so viable. And I will sit here and listen.
Because at the moment the meta is more Sig Ball, means that Zen is a lot more viable at the moment. So when Zen or any other more stationary support becomes viable, Ball can basically disrupt and solo kill Zen if there is no peel for that Zen.
There we go then. So Booga with the tank expertise. Okay, so DPS. Echo and Tracer. So Echo is really strong because her left click ability is kind of a shotgun spread, and this allows her to build ults on the current tanks, especially Sigma and Ball, really quickly. And with her Echo's ult, you can steal like the tanks. Mainly you want to prioritize your steal of a Sigma or a Ball because they have high HP and their ultimates are really strong. So if you steal a tanks like a Sigma, with Echo's ult ability, you're able to build ultimates super fast, and if you can build a flux in that space of a time, you could have 2 Sigmas, so you have 3 tanks in total, and you have an ultimate that is pretty devastating, and you can build that. And if you're really good, you could build. Can you build 2?
You can build 3. You
can build 3, so there you go. Like, it's game over, you get the third. So Echo, really overall, with her steal ability and her like ability of her right click doing a lot of burst damage, and her laser beam that just does a fuck ton of damage when you're over half HP, she really is quite viable.
You know, like any sort of combos or stuff like you're saying, the left click, there's very little damage fall off with that, which is quite surprising. So although it is like the shotgun-esque aim style, there is no damage drop off, so you can shoot everyone from long range. The right clicks, if you can actually hit them, are devastating when paired with the E, which if someone's under half, it does like twice as much damage or something. It genuinely melts.
So next is Tracer. So Tracer's really strong right now because of the current supports that are played, which we'll get onto in a second, is usually Zen. Zen is the problem here. And Tracer has so much backline pressure ability, and especially if you pair this with a Ball, supports her under a constant amount of pressure. And the fact that Tracer can build pulse really quickly, she has so much escape with her right click, our shift ability, or our blink ability, And if she really has made a mistake, she can recall. So this gives you the ability to come in a team fight from an off angle. So let's say you're flanking. You blink in and you can one clip a Zen and recall out. And that's automatically a 5v6. So you're already an advantage. They're doing a healing support and that is devastating. Tracer's always been meta. She really has. She's always been that character that never really fell off. Because there's such a high skill ceiling on Tracer. There is no ceiling. You can only get better with Tracer. There is no like cap because you can always dodge abilities with your blink and apply pressure. Right, so supports. Now I'm at a impasse for supports. I'd say probably the 1 S tier support would be Bat. Would you agree with me on that?
I would say it's Zen at this meta. In this meta, if it was double shield, I'd definitely be talking about BAP.
Yeah.
So if you're talking about this season as a whole, I would agree with you for saying BAP now, because it was double shield for most of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you on Zen actually. Zen is definitely the reason Zen, our main man Zen, is so strong. Is the Harmony orb for, so that's his friendly healing orb, and his Discord orb that allows like so much damage on the tank. So if you put a damage orb or a Discord orb on like say the flanking Sigma, you're balling Tracer, who hopefully you're playing, but anyway the flanking player can be punished so hard because of the amount of damage Discord orb allows the other teammates to do. So if you have, for example, a Sigma flanking and you are a Zen and you Discord orb the Sigma and you Harmony orb your Tracer, this allows your Tracer to have constant healing and improve damage on the Sigma. So yeah. I'd say Bap is definitely a strong hero. Yeah, so Bap's a really strong hero. His right click ability with the heal is an AoE. His shift is AoE. And his ultimate is...
His shift is insane.
Yeah,
like, it's...
So yeah, Bap's shift ability is super strong. And Baptiste's E ability is a substitute for Zen's ultimate. Although it's a smaller radius, you can't move it and it's destroyable. But for example, a Sigma Flux, at the last second, hopefully if you're not killed, you can throw down your Baptiste ult, and that can save your whole entire team in that Flux, because they can't die from it. The reason he's not S tier is because it wouldn't be a loss without him. You can play other things. He's very strong, but he's not S tier, he's not meta. Anything on that, Booga?
Just like the shift ignores AoE, so you can shift your like ball or whatever before, or echo before they go in, and even if they break line of sight, they still get that little bit of healing over time.
Really, I didn't actually know that. There
we go. It used to be a thing where before you dive as Monkey Diva, you could BAP shift and then you dive in, and it would be better than Lucio Amp.
Right. Okay. So next is Brigitte. Brig is really strong because of mainly, really, her Inspire. So her Inspires are passive ability of when you do damage, you heal. And that can be huge in team fights, because if you're always swinging, you're healing your team consistently. So over a long period of time, it can be really good. Our E ability is also good because you can pack people at range as well and close, so you can stack up packs, so it's like quick healing in succession if they're really low. Our stun ability can be useful for stopping Ball a lot of the time and keeping Ball away from your team. So if you're sitting in the back line and Ball's trying to dive your Zen, if you really want to protect your Zen, every time the ball goes in the Zen, you can pack your Zen and stun the ball and shift them away with your Whiplash, and that really disrupts the Ball's behavior. And Brig's rally is ridiculous. Before a team fight is, you can rally and you've got like an extra 50 or 100 HP. I can't remember exactly. Okay, I've had a thought. I don't think Mercy is a B tier. I think Mercy is an A tier. I think Mercy is an A tier, not a B tier. Now there's reasons behind this, and they're terrible reasons. Quite oftenly, now this is mainly at the higher rank, but it's also could be done at lower rank. Mercy's ability to fly between heroes is extremely useful, and if you know how to super jump, unlike me, who's terrible at it, you can get out of a lot of fights, and you're a menace. You have quick healing access, but you also have damage boost. Now I think the damage boost is what sets Mercy apart here, because if you pocket a Pharah or an Echo, really you win. So if you had a Pharah, two Pharahs fighting each other, now that's fine. But see if you have two Pharahs and a Mercy pocketing one Pharah, the Mercy that's pocketing the Pharah always wins, because they have that damage boost and they have that on-site healing. She can do a lot of damage with that Pharah or Echo or even an Ashe. You can pocket the Ashe, and that does a lot of work. And she also has that res capability. Being able to bring a person back straight into the fight from a mistake they've made is hugely monumental to a fight. You could lose a fight, you could lose someone in your team, and that would instantly mean you lose that fight. If you lost a Sigma of Flux, for example. Now that res capability, being able to res, gives you another chance in that team fight, instead of having to wait maybe 20% to regroup fully, or even longer. So she's definitely an A tier because of the potential she brings when she's needed. Pharah would be my next pick. Pharah's A tier because she does so much damage from afar. There is no damage drop off for Pharah, and when you combo that with a Mercy, it is a force to be reckoned with when she's on your backline. Now, this is a really more of a case of learning when Pharah is a problem, but it's hard to explain when she's truly a problem until you come up against someone who knows how to play Pharah. Okay, so next would be Kree. So Kree is just good. His damage output from his left click is really strong. His ability to stun heroes such as Ball and Tracer really put a lot of pressure on those players to play correctly, and if they don't play correctly, you can punish them straight away. Really, Kree is just an all-round good hero. It's the pressure he gives from existing make him at A tier. His fall-off damage is really it's like he's kind of a mid-range hero. Long range, his fall-off damage is really strong, but mid-range, his fall-off isn't really there, so it has a lot of potential.
When you get to these kind of heroes, it's more like if you're not hitting your shots as much, these heroes don't become viable. But with McCree, you've got your Flashbang Fan the Hammer. I know no one likes to see it, but a Flashbang Fan the Hammer does so much damage. You can Fan the Hammer, roll Fan the Hammer shields in the game to almost completely delete them. Just gives your team the overall like shield war win. That's fine.
Ash is definitely A tier. I agree with you on that. Now this again is enabled only by Mercy. If you don't have a Mercy, she's a B tier and maybe even a C tier. But because of Mercy, she's an A tier. So Mercy enables the best on other characters. Now the reason she's an A tier with Mercy is the ability to one-shot headshot. Her dynamite does so much damage, and you can throw them over shields. So Sigma shield, for example, you can throw over, shoot the dynamite, their whole team's on fire. That's a lot of damage, and the fact that that's AoE can really put pressure on the enemy. For fire rate, she's very good at shooting Echo or Pharah players, so that could be a counter. If you know how to hit your shots, you can really disrupt Pharah. But if Pharah knows how to play Pharah, she won't give you those opportunities. She'll just side angle you a lot of the times. So this is it for A tier. There's nothing really more that I'd say is definitely strong per se. So let's drag on the viable heroes, and then we'll go through each one and explain why these heroes are viable. So I think these are correct. So Ana, viable, not great. Other supports are probably better, but she can be done. With the anti-nade ability on Sigma Flux, she's very strong. Her ability to sleep, Ball, Tracer can be catastrophic. Her nano boost mainly and only really goes with Genji, where it becomes its strongest. Now combining Genji and Ana, so we'll move Genji and Ana together. Combining Genji and Ana's ult together, 99% of the time, if the Genji is a good player, guarantees a team wipe, unless they have trance. If they have trance, this is another reason why Zen is S tier and Bap is A tier. If they have trance, you can out heal the whole entire nano blade. Though if the Genji is very, very good, he can one-shot you through the nano blade, but only if you're 200 HP. If you're over 200 HP, he can't one-shot you. Bap's thing can be destroyed by Genji in a swish. So Genji's useful because of his ult. That's the end of that. Widow. Now, coming from my point of view right now, Widow is really not a good hero to play. I'm finding myself more often having to swap Widow because she's just not doing enough. Now the reason, because Widow is viable and not anything more, I'd even maybe say sometimes subpar, is because of Ball and Tracer. If a Ball dives you, you're dead. You have an escape ability, Tracer can get you, Ball can follow you, someone else can shoot you. It's really not good. So really, Widow, really not that special anymore right now. Really, you've got to play positioning or she's useless.
I love the Widow nerf. The 175 HP is actually glorious as a ball player. I can slam and kill her. Even if she's got like a Zen Orb or something, she still dies to me.
So next is Soldier. So Soldier is really only useful for his damage output. Now because of the only reason he is now viable in my opinion is because of his new buff, I'd call it, where his recoil is vertical. So there is now no spread on your shots. So now your shots don't go randomly in different directions as you shoot. It's literally only a vertical pattern. If you can control your mouse by pulling down vertically, you can 100% shoot on target every time. Now that does a lot of damage on tanks. So next is Hanzo. Hanzo is once again nothing special. The way you can utilize Hanzo, for example, I think where Hanzo is most viable is Hanamura, for example, or the first choke point. Your ability to climb up walls and come from multiple different angles is quite devastating. So next up is Roadhog. So Roadhog is really good for punishing with his hook ability and flanking. He can hook supports in the backline and do a lot of pressure in the backline. But if you get caught out, the only escape ability you've got is really your E to keep you alive for longer to get back to your team. Otherwise, if they focus you down hard, you're dead. So this is why, as much as Hog is good, he's definitely not a strong hero because of his ability to be punished, and he's definitely not an S tier. He's not got anything to benefit his team. Right, so next up is Torb. Now Torb is viable but not meta, and definitely not strong. His turret allows a lot of annoying side damage if you don't focus it down, which can be quite catastrophic, because if the Torb places his turrets in such positions that where you're either in a team fight or you're trying to get the turret out, you can either be punished or you let the Torb turret shoot you for a continuous amount of time, what can rack up quite a fair bit of damage. The E ability gives escape ability because it gives him health and armor, and it increases his damage by quite a significant amount, so he can burst you down quite quickly. Now the last four, Lucio, Reinhardt, Mei and Zarya. Now the only reason mainly these are viable heroes, maybe apart from Mei, so we'll put Mei to the side, these heroes are only really particularly good together. Now we could add Reaper to here because Reaper is what makes it decent, but I don't feel like Reaper has enough value on his own, and only during one composition can he really be utilized properly. Otherwise, not so useful. So Lucio, overall, with Reinhardt and Zarya, Lucio can speed in both his tanks to engage a brawl very quickly. Reinhardt swinging and shielding and fire striking and charging does a lot of damage. Zarya allows her to bubble herself to get a lot of damage with her energy, and able to bubble the Reinhardt to get energy and save him from sticky situations is extremely useful. And Mei is exceptionally useful and maybe even strong, but not quite, because of her wall ability. Her wall ability, if you know how to use it correctly, disrupts a whole entire team. If you manage to wall off a Reinhardt, for example, who's always playing forefront for his team, if you can wall him off, he is split from his whole entire team, and because you're playing Rein, Zarya, Lucio, you can, hopefully Reaper with this, you can rush straight into them and you can delete that Reinhardt before that wall goes down. So now we're going to go to subpar heroes. So as we previously talked about, we talked about Reaper. Reaper's subpar because apart from the brawl comp with the Lucio, Reinhardt, Zarya, Mei, he's not really standalone special, and if he's not playing that comp, you're not really doing anything. He's not a swap pick because in that comp he has a lot of damage output, so he can be viable. Moira is subpar as well. Moira's healing is strong and especially goes with that brawl comp, but otherwise she's not that useful. She can heal quite a lot, but with the current meta being played, she's nothing special compared to the other supports. She has no range ability, so if she wants to heal someone far away, you're not in for a good time because you have to shift in, and if you shift in, you have no escape ability, so you can be punished instantaneously. Her orb is useful, but then it's quite infrequent. So overall, Moira is nothing really special, and therefore is quite a subpar hero in the current meta. If we were to play Brawl comp, although, she is very strong with her high output of healing in a short space of time. So next is Orisa. Orisa is quite useful because of her Fortify and her shield, but overall, that's really the extent of it. Her ability to pull people can be quite useful, but it's nothing versus a brawl comp, and overall she's really not that strong. You can combo her with Hog and Orisa to do the pull hook combo, but because of Sigma being introduced to the game, his ability to instantly deploy a shield counters that combo entirely. Next up, Winston. Winston's viable because of Numbani.
Yes. So
Numbani, anything with specific high ground, Numbani especially, you kind of want to be able to get in and out really easily because of the high ground. You always want to be in the high ground. This is the only reason why Winston is viable, and we could also mean Diva is also semi-viable, but overall quite subpar because their only utilization is on that one map. So next up is Sombra. Sombra is also a subpar hero, but can be used. Now, she has reasonable output, And maybe even she could be in B tier with the right comp. I even think maybe we could put her in B tier. But for now, I'm going to leave her in C tier for subpar. Because her utilization is she can hack the ball. But if the ball is able to shoot, or anybody able to shoot her, it can be quite disruptive. So if you're not able to hack the ball, Sombra is quite useless. After reconsideration, I don't think C tier is quite the place for Sombra. I think Sombra's I think Sombra's B tier. I think Sombra overall, I don't think she is quite a subpar. I think she's definitely worth it in the B tier.
I was thinking in this meta the fact that she can also just hack Sig out of his ult is
exactly
pretty huge.
So overall, I think Sombra is also a B tier, so we're probably incorrect with the C tier. Right, so last is D tier. So Bastion, Doom, Junk, Sim. These heroes. Now, you may see a lot of one tricks be very good at these heroes. Now that doesn't mean that you shouldn't play these heroes if you're really wanting to play them. But overall, these heroes, compared to other ones, unless utilized extremely well, are just not what you want to be picking. If you one trick these heroes, or you play these heroes and you really like these heroes and you don't give a shit, play them. But if you're in it to win it, maybe reconsider playing something else. So guys, we're done. Please remember to smash that like. I fucking hate myself.